The US wants to put missiles and lasers in space to stop enemy attacks. The plan is called the Golden Dome, and it could cost over 500 billion US dollars. The Golden Dome project, recently announced personally by Donald Trump, is a bold plan to build a next-generation missile defense system to protect the United States from advanced missile threats. Modeled after Israel's Iron Dome, but on a much larger scale, it aims to counter intercontinental ballistic missiles, hypersonic weapons, and space-based threats from adversaries like China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Trump announced that the US has selected an architecture for the Golden Dome, a multi-layered defense system integrating ground, sea, and space-based technologies. The project is led by US Space Force General Michael Guillotin, with an ambitious goal to be operational by 2029, before the end of Trump's term. An initial $25 billion in funding budget bill is under consideration in Congress, though the total cost could be significantly higher. The Pentagon is exploring three design options: small, medium, and large, each varying in scope, timeline, and expense. Discussions are also underway with Canada to extend protection through North American Aerospace Defense Command cooperation. And Trump says he has told Canada it will have to pay over 60 billion US dollars to be part of this proposed Golden Dome missile defense system if they remain a separate but unequal nation. Let's break this down. The Golden Dome is a response to growing missile threats from enemies and rivals. The US Defense Intelligence Agency says that China and Russia are developing advanced missiles, including hypersonic glide vehicles and fractional orbital bombardment systems, which can evade current defenses. China has over 400 ICBMs and 600 nuclear warheads, while Russia has 350 ICBMs and sophisticated superweapons like the RS-28 Sarmat and Avangard. North Korea's expanding missile arsenal and Iran's potential ICBMs development by 2030s add to the urgency. Unlike current systems focused on limited threats from North Korea or Iran, Golden Dome targets large-scale attacks from peer competitors like China and Russia. By offering protection to allies like Canada and potentially others in Europe and Asia, it could reduce US troops' deployment abroad while maintaining influence. A robust defense could discourage enemies from launching missiles, knowing they are likely to be intercepted. However, the system's symbolic value is also significant. Trump sees it as a legacy project, similar to his border wall. The Golden Dome's cost is a major point of contention. Trump estimates at 175 billion US dollars, but experts and the Congressional Budget Office project cost could range from 160 billion to over 800 billion over 20 years, depending on the scale and launch costs for space-based components. The Golden Dome is designed to be a comprehensive, multi-layered system. Space-based interceptors and sensors. Satellites would track and destroy missiles during their boost phase, shortly after launch, or mid-course phase, using missiles or possibly lasers. This requires a large constellation of satellites, potentially 400 to over 1,000, to cover global threats. Ground and sea integration. It would combine existing systems like Patriot, THAAD, and ship-fired standard missiles with new space-based technologies. Global reach. The system aims to intercept missiles launched from anywhere, including space, and protect against hypersonic and orbital threats. Boost phase defense. By targeting missiles early, when they are slower and more visible, the system could neutralize threats before they deploy decoys or become harder to track. However, the system is not intended to be impenetrable. It aims to rely and stop small-scale attacks and blunt largest one from Russia and China rather than neutralizing their entire arsenals. But the Golden Dome faces significant challenges. Like technical feasibility, intercepting missiles, especially hypersonic ones, is extremely difficult. A February 2025 American Physical Society report suggests that defending against even a single ICBM is challenging, and scaling up to counter Russia or China's arsenal would require thousands of satellites far beyond current capabilities. The project's massive scale and reliance on untested technology could lead to delays and expenses far exceeding estimates, similar to the Cold War-era Star Wars program, which failed due to the technological and cost barriers. Critics warn that Golden Dome could destabilize global security by prompting adversaries to develop more advanced missiles or anti-satellite weapons, escalating tensions. Deploying weapons in space risks turning it into a battlefield, violating international norms and potentially triggering conflicts. The project's high cost and uncertain timeline could face domestic opposition, especially if it fails to deliver quick results or divert funds from other needs. Several major defense contractors are competing for Golden Dome contracts. Lockheed Martin, L3Harris Technologies, RTX Corp. These companies are actively pitching proposals and are seen as key players due to their experience with missile defense systems. Despite Elon Musk's public reluctance, SpaceX is considered a frontrunner for launching satellites, given its low-cost launch capabilities. However, Musk has stated a preference to focus on Mars exploration. Palantir may contribute data analytics or AI for the system sensor network. Over 180 firms have expressed interest to join the program. The Golden Dome has sparked significant international and domestic criticism. China, Russia, and North Korea have condemned the project, arguing it threatens global stability and could spark a space arms race. They see it as an offensive move disguised as defense, potentially enabling preemptive strikes. Domestic skepticism also is growing. Experts like Todd Harris question the project's feasibility, citing technological challenges and costs. Groups like Secure World Foundation warn that space-based weapons could open a Pandora box, escalating militarization and undermining treaties. Canada is in talks to join the Golden Dome through NORAD, seeking protection and potentially contributing funds. This strengthens continental defense but raises domestic debates over cost sharing and sovereignty. And Trump has repeatedly mentioned that Canada will have to pay over $60 billion to be part of this proposed Golden Dome missile defense system. China strongly opposes the project, with Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning calling it a threat to global strategic balance, with strong offensive implications. Beijing fears it could undermine its nuclear deterrent and is concerned about space militarization. China may respond by enhancing its hypersonic and anti-satellite capabilities. Russia's response is mixed. A joint statement with China labeled the project deeply destabilizing, but Kremlin spokesperson Peskov called it sovereign matter for the US, suggesting a willingness to negotiate arms control. Russia may counter with new missiles and space-based weapons. North Korea has harshly criticized the Golden Dome, calling it a scenario for nuclear war in space and a tool for US unipolar domination. North Korea may escalate missiles tests to challenge the system. The Golden Dome is a high-stake gamble that reflects both strategic and necessity and political ambition. The US faces real and growing missile threats, and modernizing its outdated defense systems is overdue. However, the project's technical complexity, astronomical costs, and geopolitical risks make its success uncertain. While it could enhance US security and deter adversaries, it risks escalating an arms race and destabilizing global nuclear deterrence. The involvement of Canada strengthens North American defense, but complicates cost-sharing and diplomacy. Opposition from China and Russia underscores the project's potential to reshape global power dynamics, possibly pushing adversaries toward riskier tactics like cyber attacks or asymmetric warfare. In simple terms, the Golden Dome is a big, expensive idea to keep America safe from missiles. It's a bold plan, but it's hard to pull off, costs a lot, and could make other countries nervous or aggressive. Whether it's a game changer or a cost overreach depends on execution and diplomacy in the years ahead. What do you think? Is the Golden Dome a smart move or just another expensive dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.